It's Wellness Wednesday here on 41 today, and though Father's Day may have passed, dads are important each day of the year. Here to talk about why it's important to have a father figure in your life is Dr. Darren Moore with the Marriage and Family Therapy Program over at Mercer University. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So first of all, what are some of the barriers that men face when it comes to being a father, so playing that father figure or just being a father role in someone's life?
Well, one of the things that I have realized in my clinical practice is that we don't often give fathers a lot of responsibility. We don't always focus on ways in which they can help to raise children. They're often left out of the conversation. So on one part of the line, there's this idea of there's absent fathers. They don't want to be involved. But there's not a conversation around what are some of the barriers and what ways can we help fathers become involved.
You know, that's interesting that you said that, because I went on a story and there was a dad who was at a school who said, you know, it's like they leave us out of the PTO meeting, you know?
Sure.
So it's almost like they're forgotten about, when that's not the case at all.
Right, and then one of the other things, I work with couples, and so when I work with couples who are experiencing some distress, perhaps moving towards breakup, sometimes that can become an issue in terms of when the father is removed from the household. And so I think that's another piece of the conversation. When we do have couples that are experiencing conflict, we have to work together to develop effective co-parenting skills.
So feeding off that, I mean, what advice would you want to give a man who wants to be more involved in a child's life?
Well, one of the things I always tell men, especially if they're dealing with custody issues, to of course talk with an attorney, but I think that they have to set aside their issues perhaps with their spouse or ex-spouse and really focus on what's in the best interest of the child.
So how can a wife or an ex-wife or, you know, a girlfriend, how can she be a part of the whole process and mending this process?
I think she is a very critical component to this process, and so I think one of the things that will be necessary is for her, just like for him, they have to take the emotional reaction out of it. You know, if you've decided to move on, that's okay, but you can still become a part of your child's life.
So you're a therapist, you see a lot of different cases every single day. Some you can compare to others, some are just totally different. But how would you say not being in a child's life impacts a child? So a man who's not there at all.
I think it can definitely negatively impact children. Of course, children can act out, they can become depressed, increase in suicidal ideation. Lots of things can be impacted on the child for that reason. But the other thing is, we don't talk about how it impacts men. So if I'm a father and I'm not involved, that might mean that I might become depressed. I might isolate, and I might actually cope in other ways that perhaps are unhealthy.
So obviously lots of great tips. Is there a site or somewhere we can email you if we have any more, if you have any advice for anyone who needs this?
Sure, you can contact me at more_dd@mercer.edu, and likewise I'm at the Family Therapy Program at Mercer.
All right, thank you, Dr. Darren. And you can catch Wellness Wednesdays with Dr. Moore right here on 41 Today, every other Wednesday each month. Next month we're talking about weight loss. Be sure to tune in for that. Stay with us. We'll be right back.